A very warm welcome to all of you. This is our live answer writing session. In the previous session, we have covered the history portion of the General Studies paper 1. And in this session, we are going to cover the Indian society part. So, as you all know that the General Studies paper 1 consists of history, Indian society and geography. So, Indian society is one of the most scoring topics for the paper 1. All right. And if you have seen the UPSC past year papers, you must have realized that it uh, almost certainly covers all those topics which are given directly in the syllabus. So, for example, globalization, women, weaker section, tribals. So, every time the questions come directly or indirectly from these topics only. So, it has a very concise part, so you can easily prepare it. All right. Now let's see the first question which will be writing. It is critically analyze the impact of globalization on culture in the context of India. So again the keyword here is critical. You have to analyze critically. What you have to analyze? The impact of globalization. So whenever there is a question in front of you, first you have to break that question. What is being asked in this particular question and what all the sub points and sub parameters you have to answer. This will give you a clear picture of your entire answer, how you are going to proceed, what all sub parts you have to write in that particular answer, and what all sort of current affairs, what all sort of example you have to put in. So a structure, whenever there is a structure in your mind, it will help you to proceed smoothly in writing the answer. Clear? So here you have to critically analyze the impact of globalization on culture, right? And here it is particularly mentioned that in context of India, you don't have to write the impact of globalization of Pakistan or let's say United States. Clear? So let me tell you briefly that whenever there is a thing mention of impact, there are always two types of impact. Either it is a positive or there is a negative impact. Clear? And you have to address both thing here, right? So here it is asking the critically. So definitely globalization, there is a positive impact. Also there is the globalization has a negative impact. So this addressing both the positive and negative thing, you are being critical. All right. So let's see. Let me tell you the brief outline how you have to approach this particular answer. First of all, the core theme here is globalization. So briefly discuss discuss the phenomena of globalization. Okay. Now you have to mention how it has influenced or impacted various aspects of Indian culture. Right? So you have to mention its influence on the culture of India. See, culture is a very broad term. It encompasses various aspects. I will tell you what all those aspects are. And the third thing is you have to briefly conclude on the basis of the aforesaid points. Right? Whether we have to we have to blindly follow the globalization or there is some sort of hybridization. That it means we are taking all the good things and rejecting the bad things. So conclude on the basis of above point. So this will be your broad structure. Okay. You have to frame your answer on this broad structure. Clear? Now let's start your answer writing. See, let me first off tell you what culture is. Clear? So culture basically comprises of what? It comprises of the family system. Whether it is a nuclear family, whether it is a joint family. Clear? Culture includes language, how you are communicating with others. Are you communicating in the English language or your mother tongue? Right? Culture consists of religion. Culture consists of food habits. Every culture has a certain food eating habits. All right? Clear? Their living relationships, right? Live in relationships. It is what? It is an impact of globalization. Clear? Your cinemas. Cinemas are a very important aspect of a culture. How it is getting impacted by globalization, we will see further in the answer. Right? So culture comprises of all these aspects. Your dressing, clothes. During independence, most of the people were wearing what? Khadi, dhoti, kurta. Very few were open to pants, shirts, suits. But now, slim fit jeans, right? And how it has happened? It is an impact of globalization. So this is the broad idea what a culture comprises of. It is very easy to see culture. You write the impact on culture. But if you know what a culture comprises of, you can easily break this thing into different subpoints. Clear? So let's start the answer. So as I've told you, first explain the concept of globalization. So globalization refers to, you have to write, globalization refers to the increasing interaction of people companies and government around the world, particularly through migration, trade, and financial flows. Okay. So apart from the economic aspect, it has a significant cultural dimension also. This is the we have talked about the economic aspect, but apart from this, it has a significant cultural impact and cultural dimension also. Right? So this is just a introduction you have to give in 2 lines. Now you have to write India, because the questions specifically ask you to write in context of India. So you have to mention in the second paragraph, India has not remained untouched by the process of cultural interaction initiated by globalization. I'm writing in short globalization. Okay. The impact of globalization, the impact of globalization can be studied through three processes, can be studied by or studied through three processes. And what all the three processes are? First one is homogenization. Second one is hybridization. I will tell you what exactly the meaning is. So, what is homogenization? It means to make everything look alike. Right? See, when the Mughals came to India, they tried to make everything Persian, having the Persian influence. This is making everything look like Persians, the Islamic touch. What is hybridization? It means having some sort of characteristic of one thing along with the original characteristics of that particular thing. Okay, this is called hybridization. And globalization, the third process is revival of culture. Revival of cultures. So, globalization has led to the impact. We are writing about the impact of globalization. So, we'll be writing in the sense of homogenization, how globalization has led to the homogenization of culture, how it has led to hybridization of culture, and how globalization has impacted or led to the revival of the culture. So all the positive, negative things has been covered in this three process. All right. Now let's see one by one how it has impacted the culture and what are the subparts of culture: family, language, religion, and food. So let's see one by one. So first one is on the impact on family. You have to write globalization has led to, it has led to a homogenizing trend towards what? Towards nuclearization of family. Towards nuclearization of families. You must have seen that previously most of the Indian families were living together under the same roof, 2 or 3 families. But as the globalization has impacted, has come to India, these family system has broken. We can say that it is not broken. It has shifted from living together to living alone. Previously, we have 2 to 3 families under the same roof. Now we have only husband, wife, and children. And it has been seen through what? It has been seen through the increasing number of old age homes, the increasing number of old age homes, are often cited as an evidence of, or let's say as an evidence by the proponent of this view, of the view of homogenization, by the proponents of this view. Which view? The view of homogenization, that globalization has led to homogenization trend towards nuclearization of family, which is evident by what? The increasing number of old age homes. All right. But we have to critically analyze. This is the homogenization part. But now, however, in the family part only, however, others argue that the culture of jointness persists and there has instead been a hybridization of cultures as evident from the increasing number of supplemented nuclear families. Supplemented nuclear families. It means that joint families are still there, but nuclear families have supplemented them. That's it. Right? So you can see that in rural areas still there are the families which are living together. However, in urban areas there is a trend of living alone in nuclear families. So there is a mix of things. We cannot outrightly say that globalization has led to entire homogenization of nuclear family. No, it is one aspect. That's why we are being critical and we have said that no, it is not entirely homogenization. There is a mix. There is a hybridization. There are still joint families. However, nuclear families are supplementing them. That's it. So this is being critical. We are critically analyzing the impact of globalization on family. So one view is homogenization. Yes, it is happening. However, not entirely. There is a hybrid trend. So in this way, you have to answer this thing. Is it clear? Now moving on to the second aspect. The second aspect of culture is language. Very, very important aspect. So due to globalization, what is happening? The use of English language. The use of English language has increased manifold. We all know that everywhere now we speak in English, we write in English, we study in English, especially in urban areas. Especially in urban areas. Now there has been a trend that in urban areas, in a good convent school, if you are speaking Hindi, they will punish you in the form of either fine or this thing. There is again a controversy on this thing also, because we all know that the English along with Hindi is the official language, right? So we have to promote both of this thing. All right. However, so this is one aspect that yes, due to English languages, use of English languages is increasing due to globalization. However, we have to be critical. It is not altogether this only this altogether. However, English use is also being favored. So here what we are saying, it is a hybridization, right? Hybridization. It is not entirely homogenization. Hybridization is also there, which is being manifested in the form of use of English. Even the Google has a keyboard which says English keyboard, right? So you can write here example Google's English keyboard. Okay. And recently in Madhya Pradesh, you can also cite this example. In MP, in Madhya Pradesh, the medical teaching will be now in Hindi. The medical courses will be in Hindi language also. So you can write these kind of examples. Okay. So again, yes, globalization has led to somewhat increase the use of English language, but it is not entirely true. As we all know that we have said here that revival of culture, the third aspect, globalization has led to what? Some people are started using the English language, but however, there are certain section of people who have now started to promote Hindi language, which can be seen with this example. That in Madhya Pradesh, the medical courses are now being taught in Hindi languages. The books will be written in Hindi languages. All right. So here we are being critical. Clear? The Google English keyboard, it is suggesting towards what? The hybridization. Yes, English is there, but we have not forgotten Hindi. Clear? Now, the third aspect, religion. So due to globalization, there is a trend towards, there is a trend towards increasing secularization of the society. Again, the homogenization thing is being done here, because in the Western areas, all religions are being equally respected. The state is separated from the religious thing. Similarly, in India, India is a secular country. We all know that. So, due to globalization, previously, India was considered as a Hindu nation, right? But now India is also is a secular nation. Every religion is respected in the same manner. So, due to globalization, the secularization trend has also increased, right? However, it is being said that the homogenization homogenization and hybridization coexists. Okay. And a very good example is what? The Godwin's example you can write here. The prominence of Godwin and astrology. Okay. This has led to what? The revival of culture. The revival of culture. Okay. See, whenever the external forces try to come inside your territory, they will try to modify your culture. So what happens is, some section of people gets converted or gets modified. However, there's a certain section of people who try to save their culture, who try to preserve their culture. Right? They try to work on reviving of their culture because they feel that the external forces has, let's say, destroyed their culture. So, in the religious thing, the secularization has definitely impacted the society. But there is a certain section of people who are of the opinion that their original culture is more, or let's say, is more powerful, and they try to preserve those things. So, the increase of Godmen here. You must have heard of Asharam Bapu. You must have heard of Ram Rahim. Right? You must have heard of Jaggi Vasudev. Right? They all are basically, they're not exactly Godmen, but they're trying to revive the culture of India. Jaggi Vasudev is reviving the spiritual aspect of Indian civilization. Right? So you have to write here. Next, the fourth one is food. So in this you have to write that the arrival of international food companies like McDonald's, KFC points towards homogenization. However, at the same time, these cuisines are being modified. As per the local food culture. So example, you can write McDonald's is serving Makalu Tikki. Right? Serving Makalu Tikki. So Aloo Tikki is a food flavor of local Indian culture. And McDonald's is adapting it. It is not bringing entirely cheeseburger of United States to India, but they are adapting as per the local demand. So there is a mix of hybridization. Okay, so we are being critical. So it is not entirely homogeneous. It is not entirely homogenization. There is a mix. There is a hybridization. The international companies are getting adapted to the local food culture. They are involving the local food culture in their own menu. So we are having Makalu Tikki. KFC is serving biryani. Right? So this is called what? This is called globalization. Globalization plus localization. Globalization. right? So after writing these 4 points, you can conclude by so while globalization has impacted the Indian culture in more than one ways, it is best understood through the three process of homogenization, hybridization, and revivalism, rather than a one way homogenizing street. So the entire crux is that yes, globalization has impacted, but it is not homogenizing thing entirely, but it is studied through homogenization. There is homogenization, there is hybridization, and also there is revivalism. So in this way, the impact of globalization on Indian culture has been analyzed. So what we have done so far? We have introduced with the definition of globalization. In the body, we have discussed the impact on family, language, food, okay, and religion. And here we have critically examined it, critically analyzed that it is not impacting, homogenizing things, but it is hybridizing also. It is revivaling also. So everywhere we have studied about family beings getting homogenized, family getting hybridized, religion getting homogenized through secularization. However, revivalism is also there. So we have mentioned both the impacts of globalization, and we have concluded by saying that globalization is not entirely homogenizing, but it is studied through hybridization, revivalism, and homogenization altogether. So this is our broad framework which we have to apply. So now go write this answer and see the sub parameters, the subtopics we have chosen is food, religion, language. You can also add different things. Let's say dressing sense. You can also add things like friendship days. We are celebrating friendship day. We are celebrating New Year. Okay. You can also mention the impact of globalization in the form of porn. The 90% of the internet traffic is being dominated with porn, so it is a negative aspect, right? So you can write in both ways. Okay, so one more way of writing this question is writing the impact. You can write here positive, you can write here negative. So what all the positive impacts on the Indian culture, you can write here. What all the negative impact let's say violence against women, right? The you have seen of the you must have heard that the abortion rate is getting higher up in the even in the urban areas. Why? Because of the technology, which is, and how technology has come to India through globalization. So you can write like this also. Okay, so there's multiple way of writing in any answer. I would suggest write your answer like this. Clear? Now let's move on to the second question of Indian society. And here the question is, violation of women's sexual and reproductive health rights are often deeply ingrained in the societal values and traditions. Comment. So basically, the question is trying to say that whatever bad things are happening to women in terms of their sexual and reproductive health, it is because of the societal values and the draconian traditions which is still being followed in the Indian society. And you have to comment. So you have to properly describe what all sort of bad things are there in the, what all bad things are happening to women and how it is related with the societal and the traditions of the Indian society. Okay, so how to approach this question? So let me tell you the approach, how you have to start it. First of all, identify what are the keywords here. Violation of what? The sexual and reproductive health of women. Women here is the core theme. So women here is the core theme. Okay. So how the societal values and traditions are violating women's sexual and reproductive health. So this is the entire story we have to write. See, not every value and tradition will be violating women's sexual and reproductive rights. However, there are certain things, because not every society is perfect. There are certain positive aspects of the society. However, there are certain negative things also. So we have to find these things. Clear? So approach would be, how you have to approach this particular question. First of all, use data to highlight violation of women's sexual and reproductive rights. You have to quote or you have to write some data of any particular report or findings that yes, there has been a violation. So this will address the first thing, that yes, there has been violation going on in the Indian society. Clear? Now you have to establish a link. Establish link between what? Between societal values and traditions that violates women right. That violates women rights. And here you have to write as many example as you know, with example. And in this on the basis of this above points, you have to conclude by mentioning any government schemes plans which are protecting women's right. So this should be your entire structure. You have to write your question in this way. Okay. So let's start with your answer. So first of all, write any data. So you can start with, as per United Nations report 214 million women worldwide lack access to contraceptions more than 800 women die daily. More than 800 women die daily from preventable causes related to pregnancy and childbirth. See, and childbirth. So what we have addressed so far, we have mentioned a data about what? Women's sexual and reproductive health. Sexual means 214 million women are lack access to contraceptions. They don't know about contraceptive pills. They don't know about anything related to contraceptions. And what is happening because of that? They are consistently getting impregnated. They are giving childbirth. And this has already been started from very young age because they don't know about contraceptions. At the same time, reproductive health. As soon as the baby get delivered, the woman get pregnant, there are so many concerns with the health of women which can easily be prevented if they know how to do it. But they don't know, they are not aware of these things. So you have justified the first statement, violation of women and sexual health rights, by that it is happening, and you have mentioned the data. So you have introduced the first part. Now the main thing, the body. You have to establish the links. Okay. So you can write that. You can give a subheading. Violation of these rights is often deeply ingrained in abstract sentiments and cultural standards set and traditionally followed by society. Can be seen below. Can be seen below. So you can write like this, give us subheading like this. Okay. Now let's see what all sort of things are. So you can give in a pointer format also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So let's see what all the societal values are. So in patriarchal society, in patriarchal society, women are subjected to early marriage, subjected to early marriage. Okay. Early marriages, repeated pregnancies, repeated pregnancy, often in effort to produce desired male offspring. So what happens in a patriarchal society is, whenever, let's say there is a patriarchal family, they want two sons. So they will force their women to reproduce. If, let's say, in the first pregnancy there is a female offspring, they will force her to reproduce again. Okay, and bring a male offspring. So they will continue this process until and unless they get the desired number of sons. And what happens is, in these societies, mostly prevalent in Punjab and Haryana region, let's say if they have a first two daughters, they will abort it. There's instances of female feticide, female infanticides being practiced in these areas still today. So there's a term for this, son meta preference. You should note this, son meta preference. So this is a very important term. It has been mentioned in the economic survey also. It means that having repeated pregnancy until unless the family get the desired number of the son, because they feel son are most valuable things, they will bring their family to glory and all this of nonsense, right? So this is the first aspect. And due to this son meta preference, due to the male desire of male offspring, they push the woman to repeated pregnancies and thus violating their reproductive and sexual health. Okay. Second one is, this is the first point. The second point is glorified motherhood makes postnatal care of women secondary to child's need. Means, as soon as the woman give birth, the child gets the proper attention, and the health, the postnatal care of the woman who has delivered a baby, it becomes secondary. Okay, so these kind of things are still prevalent. The entire focus of the family went to the child, and the mother's health is being neglected, and this causes further complication in their health and other things for in future. That's why we always say that a due attention should be given on the mother, similar to what we are giving to a newborn. Clear? So first point, second point is there. Third thing is lack of awareness about menstrual hygiene. Menstrual hygiene and considering it is a and considering it as a social taboo. In the villages and in the rural areas, menstrual thing, talking about menstrual hygiene, it is considered as a social taboo. They are not willing to talk about this thing. That's why what happened is the female child, they are not getting aware that this kind of menstrual bleeding they will be going through this after a certain age, and as soon as it starts, they feel very let's say awkward. They don't go to school, thus their education is getting suffered. All right, so these are the things. Fourth one is gender discrimination leading to dowry. Gender discrimination leading to leads to dowry practice. We all see that in certain areas, the biasness against girl child, it is causing what? It is causing dowry practices. See, if you're not caring your female child, you're not promoting her education, then what happened? You have to pay dowry to other person so that she can get married. And this practice is still prevalent in the rural areas and some even some of the most developed states also, right? Clear? Lack of one point also you can add lack of access to education. It is the most root cause of the woman unawareness to their sexual and reproductive health. So you can quote one thing. You can write on this page. Lack of or let's say lack of access to education is one of the most important cause of the Indian, or let's say the Indian society. Majority of the people of the rural areas as well as some of the even the urban areas, they don't promote women education, and that's why they are unaware of their sexual and reproductive rights. So in this thing, you have established this what are the societal things which are linked to the violation of the woman's sexual and reproductive health. So you can write in this pointer format, or you can write by, let's say, societal practices. Okay, you can write like this. You can say, as we have heard, patriarchy. What is happening due to patriarchy? Repeated pregnancies. Okay. Secondly, neglect of women postnatal care. Lack of access to education. Fourth point you can write stereotyping women. Stereotyping. So what is happening? Dowry, gender discrimination, etc. So in this way you can also represent your answer. Clear? You can also give one example or any data if you have after every point, or any data, let's say lack of access to education. So you can write that around 30% of women gets education. Women goes to school as per this survey. Okay. So in this way you can also write. Now coming to the concluding part. What all the government initiative we have taken so far? Government initiatives in this directions. First one is RMNCH plus A. What it means? Reproductive, maternal, newborn child, plus is adolescent approach. RMNCH approach. So it helps to ensure equal focus on various life stages of women. Okay, so the newborn child, see what is happening is the neglect of women, or let's say girl, starts from the very day of their birth. Okay, so newborn girl, she becomes what? She becomes adult, right? Then she became a mature woman. Yeah, let's say a reproductive stage, where she will be able to marry and produce offspring. Then old age. So it is a complete cycle of neglect. At the newborn stage, what is happening? Female feticide. They're killing the girl child. Female infanticide. At the adolescent, they are unaware. Unaware of what? Unaware of their sexual health. Unaware of, let's say, menstrual hygiene. And this is creating a feeling of guilt inside them. In the reproductive part, they don't know about contraceptives. And this is causing what? Repeated pregnancies, repeated complications on their health. Right? And at the later stage, they are left alone. They are uneducated. They don't get education at this stage. No education. So if a girl is not educated, what will she do at the old age? Let's say if the husband dies, her children left her. She won't be able to fetch for herself. Okay, so left alone. That's why they're being forced to work as a, let's say, menial jobs, because they feel that at older they are of no use. So the cycle, the lifestyle cycle stages of a girl or of a woman, it has suffering at every stages. Clear? So you should know this life cycle approach. You can write in this form also whenever there is an essay or let's say any answer. Clear? So government initiative we have heard of RMNCH plus A approach, which equal focus on various life stages of women. Secondly, National Health Policy of 2017. It is talking about women's health and gender mainstreaming. Clear? Then Pradhan Mantri Matritva Sahyog Yojana. Matritva Sahyog, where woman is helped by giving medicine and pregnancy support. Right? So you can write this government initiatives in this direction. Now, at the end, you have to conclude a very good conclusion. You can write that women are considered as Shakti because inside them because inside them has the power to create power to create a life, nourish a life. Okay, that's why we call Devi Ma, right? So women are considered as Shakti because inside them has the power to create a life, nourish a life. So we have to respect the power of such women. Okay, so you can conclude by this quotation also. Okay, that we have to respect the power of such women, and how we can respect them? By providing them access to education, by making them aware. All right, so you can use this quotation even in your essays. Okay, so I think this is how you have to approach the society questions. You have to bring all the aspects, different aspects, break the question into various subparts, right? You have to bring in good examples. Clear? If you have some case studies that like let's say in Kerala there is a district where women education is very good, and which has resulted in good health of women. They are less disease prone. They have controlled their fertility. Okay, so you can quote these kind of example. I am not recalling the name exactly. I think the Malapuza district of Kerala. So these kind of case study you will get in the magazines like Yojana. So you should read Yojana magazines also. Good case studies, good examples are there which you can incorporate in your answer, and you can fetch very good marks. Because answer writing is all about justifying whatever you have written. So how you would justify? You have to give examples, you have to quote data, you have to give some case studies of the current affairs. Then only you can get good marks. All right, so this is it for this session. Keep writing and keep improving. This is our advice to all the UPSC aspirants, and will bring you more such videos, so it will help you gain confidence of answer writing and how you should approach an answer. So try to write on these questions by yourself. Okay, and you can even post your answer in the comment section also, and we'll get back to you. We will check it and we'll get back to you how you have written. Clear? I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.